Hello to everyone. The goal of this video is to explain how the European Union works and what are the different institutions, or at least the most important, and how they interact between them. Once we will have analyzed how the European Union works, we will have a look to what are the 5 major challenges that Europe is facing. But before starting with the presentation, remember that there is my book on Europe on sales. The title of the book is Eurodementia, the European Union, the authoritarian design of the Babel Tower. So, thanks to my book, you will have a clear picture of what Europe really is and how it affects geopolitically the whole world. So, I highly recommend to get one copy of it. Once we have understood how Europe is, we will have to see how it is structured. So, to start, we have to think that the idea of Europe began after the Second World War. And the idea was that if different European countries would have been united commercially with better economic conditions, that would have been a way to avoid future wars. That was the basic idea that promoted the creation of the European Union that we know today. So, there are 27 countries that are part of this union. They actually were 28, but England, Great Britain, left Europe a few years ago thanks to the referendum where the people that wanted to abandon Europe won over the others. So, in these 27 countries, from a political point of view, they are organized through institutions. In this institution, we have executive power, the legislative power and the judiciary power. Executive power is represented for the European Commission. The European Commission is made of 27 commissioners plus the President of the Commission. The European Commission is the executive branch of Europe and they have the role of proposing new law, implementing law, and this is the institution that we can say it is the most operative institution. Then we have the legislative power that is composed by the European Parliament, where the European citizens elect their representative. At the moment, with the election of 2024, there will be 720 representatives. So, and we have also two councils, the European Council and the Council of the European Union. One of the councils, the European Council, represents the meeting of the different heads of state that are presented in Europe, and the other is similar, but it is the meeting of the different ministers. So the idea is that the two councils, together with the parliament, would be the body that make the legislations. But the things, it appears that it would work in that way. In reality, the two councils, the one that see the meeting of the different head of states and the one that see the meeting of the different ministers, for example, agriculture, justice or economy, these council represent simple meetings. What is discussed on this council, it is suggested by the European Commission. So, and if we have a look at the European Parliament, that is the other important institution, we see that the participation of the European representative is very little. In fact, there is the rate of presence during the sessions of the Parliament are extremely low. So, who runs really Europe? Well, the answer is very easy to get: the European Commission. The one that holds the real power in Europe is the European Commission. But not only, and we will see at the end of the presentation what is the situation regarding this aspect. We have also the European Court of Justice, that it's a very important body because it overlooks the European legislation and it intervenes in the different courts around Europe. So it has an high power of directly directing the different policies of the different countries. We have also the European Central Bank, is another institution, and it runs the euro for all the countries that have adopted the euro as their currency. This is another important institution. Then there is an European Court of Auditors, that is another branch, we can say a judiciary branch. In this case, it controls that European funds are spent or better to say invested, and they are invested well. So we have 7 institutions, but in the particular case, the one that holds the real power are the European Commission, the European Central Bank, and the Court of Justice of Europe. The 2 Council of the European Union and the European Parliament are institutions that have, in my opinion, the main function of giving to the citizen the impression that they count, their vote count. In fact, they count very little. Why I'm saying that? Because the one that really holds the power at European level is actually the one that really holds the power at European level is the deep state, what we know in the United States a deep state. All the bureaucrats, all the different branch of the European government are the one that really are writing the laws, writing the directive, writing the rules and regulation. So politically, the different head of states, the different ministers all around Europe count very little in Europe. And the one that are elected on the European Parliament, this is the 2024, an election year, and there will be a new parliament, but they count very little actually. And so finally, the deep state is the one that really runs Europe. But not only the deep state, there is also another force that is moving Europe, that are the lobbyists. In Europe, there are 25,000 lobbyists. So the one that really write laws, implement ideas, etc., are the deep state, in my opinion, all together with the lobbyists. The people that are elected by citizens, the European representative, at the end of the day, they earn a very good salary, they speak to their constituencies in order to show that they count, but in reality count very little. But what are the main challenges that are facing in Europe right now? The first one is the natality rate. The European Union has an extremely low fertility rate. It doesn't sustain the structure of the population. So, as a result of that, Europe is aging. Because Europe is aging, there is a lot of pressure on the pension systems all around Europe. At the same time, it opened the door to migration, because there are many jobs that it's very difficult to find Europeans that want to take these jobs. So, in order to maintain companies and businesses, Europe opened its border. And the fertility rate, just to make an acceleration, should be at least 2.1 children per fertile woman. In fact, in Europe is far below to that number. It's a similar situation experienced through many decades in Japan. So, the second problem comes with migration, because there are too many clandestine migrants that are arriving to Europe, and there is a pressure on security because the criminality has been rising, and then also there is a cultural clash. The European culture is the Judaic-Christian culture, but many of the new migrants that are arriving to Europe are coming from other religions, in the particular case Islam, so there is an Islamization of the European society. Europeans have not been able to transmit to the new migrant their values. So there are areas of Europe where the new migrants want to impose the Sharia law, that is the Islamic law, just to make an example. And then, so it's very difficult to receive these migrants and to integrate them. So this is the major challenge of Europe. Europe took, in a certain way, a shortcut. Instead of helping to promote an healthy fertility rate between Europeans, has opened the immigration door. It was an easy way to solve a problem, but little by little, the European culture is losing ground through to the new cultures that are arriving to Europe. That's the main problem. Then there is a third problem that, in my opinion, is very important, is the fiscal problem. Because in Europe, There are many countries that have a very high taxation rate, but there are countries that could be considered fiscal haven. For example, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, etc. So it's very difficult, the coexistence between fiscal havens and countries that have a fiscal system that is a confiscatory system. This is another big problem. Then we have the problem of the public debt of Europe that is rising little by little through time, and Europe is spending more money than what it counts with taxation, and it's a similar trend all around the world, but little by little the middle class is getting poorer and poorer. So that's a very serious problem. And the last problem that Europe has to face is what we call as the deep state. The deep state of Europe, actually, it's a little bit problematic because as we have seen, is the one that really runs Europe. So in a certain way, the citizen, it will arrive to a point that they don't understand why their representative doesn't count practically nothing at the European level. So it's a problem that European authorities must have a look to in order to solve it. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Please subscribe to the channel, share this video with your friend, give me your like, and I'm looking forward to have you in my next presentation. Thank you.